Have you thought about what your retirement looks like? Maybe overseas travel, a move to a place with a lower pace, or something else. Whatever your plan, will you have enough super? As your super team, we'll help you find and consolidate your super, expertly manage your money, and be there with you every step of the way. So whatever your retirement dreams, find out how much super you need with Statewide Super. Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the State Hockey Centre here at Jepp's Cross. As always, my name is Dave Webb. I'm joined, at least in part for tonight, by Brodie Gleeson. Now, we are getting ready for the Statewide Super League, the women, the Saints taking on the Storm. First time we've seen this. This whole thing, the brainchild of the High Performance Unit of Hockey SA and Hugh Purvis, just to give the players a chance to play at a higher level of hockey on a weekly basis. And as you can see, Brodie, you'll be running out with the men this afternoon. How are you feeling about tonight, and what do you feel about this competition?
I'm really excited. I think it's a really good initiative in the fact that, you know, we can use this as a trial and a preparation tour for AHL and 21, so allowing us to play at a higher level of competition than what we probably experience week to week. So I think it's a really good initiative, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talk about when we get into the AHL, and we get into the National and the Suns and the Hot Shots get together and play, is that the level of competition has to be better week in, week out to improve the level of the state players. This is the whole point of this. This is the best of the best from all the clubs in the three regions. So we have the Southern Saints, I'm going to get
Southern
this
Storm,
Southern Storm,
Western Pirates,
Western Pirates, and the Eastern Saints. So the best of the best from those three regions. We'll have men's games and women's games. Tonight, as we said, we'll have the Storm taking on the Saints. Coaching-wise, I know that Melody Cooper is involved with the Saints.
And Dan Mitchell.
And Dan Mitchell, so they're co-coaching. Holly Evans coaching and playing with the
No, Holly Evans is part of the
Saints?
Yeah, so the Storm's coach, I think, is Matt Cunningham. So I think,
right.
Or no, it's Steve Button, sorry, Steve Button.
Steve Button.
So
that's what we're getting ready for. So we will see Melody Cooper play. We will see Holly Evans play. We'll see the best of the best out of the Women's League through this. So brand new kits, brand new season, brand new hockey, getting ready for the 2018 AHL season. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, sit back, relax, and get ready for the Statewide Super League.
To be the quickest,
most dangerous,
Most resilient.
To play for glory, for pride, to thrill.
Cross, we are just getting ready. What is it, about a minute and 40 seconds on the warm-up clock, and then we'll get ready and they'll name the teams. It's a whole new setup. Those of us who are used to seeing the Premier League Fridays last year, we just stepped up a little bit from that, haven't we? And we're going to have, what we're going to have? We're going to have player announcements. There's a bit of music going on, after goal music, 4 quarters, which is important. We're going to have 4 quarters this year in the Super League. Now with the women, it is important to say that it is the Statewide Super League. Thank you very much to them coming on board. So, Eastern States taking on the Southern Storm. This is the first time for the Statewide Super League. The Eastern States will be made up, the Eastern Saints will be made up of Adelaide Hockey Club, the Peas, Burnside Hockey Club and the North East Hockey Club, the Western Pirates, who aren't playing tonight, Grange Royals, Port Adelaide and Woodville. Southern Storms will be Adelaide University, Forestville and Seacliff. So, as far as we talk about the Eastern Saints, the Adelaide Hockey Club, Emily Grist will be in that one. Northeast has Holly Evans, so she'll be running around there. Hattie Shand I can see running around, coached by Melody Cooper and Daniel Mitchell. Yep. And the Southern Storm Adelaide University Hockey Club, so the Spano sisters, but only one of them tonight. Mickey's still away. Forestville and Seacliff. So finalists from last year, Southern Storm. Who were the finalists last year?
Port Adelaide and Port Adelaide and Seacliff, sorry.
Seacliff, yeah. So we should see some of the grand final girls this year. As far as teams go, in the Eastern States, Grace Henderson will be in goal, Holly Evans, Kendra Selvenderen, Hetty Shand, Georgina Bridgeland, Chloe Carter, Sherilyn Cass, Emily Gist, Yelena McLaughlin, Samantha McKenney, Melody Cooper, Laura Mutton, Alison Pennington, Lucy Talbot, Amy Waters, Eliza Gray, and as we said, Melody Cooper and Dan Mitchell will be coaching there. And the women, Emma Verrill, drafted athlete from Port Adelaide. So you can steal someone from another region.
Yeah, so if there's injuries or to make up the squad, make it a stronger list, is drafted athletes from the different sectors if there's already a person in that position due to 21s or previous rep experience.
Oh, we like it. Oh, so you could have gone in and nicked someone from another.
We did originally have Ross Heaton who's playing in the Western Pines, playing for Port Adelaide, but he's gone back over there just to boost their squad.
So nobody's been drafted into the Eastern States. So as far as the Southern Storm go, Anna Busico, Emma DeBro, Cody Lewis, Brooklyn Buchecker, Katie Elphick, Amelia Harkness, Shannon Herbert, Katie Holland-Smith, Lucy Holland-Smith, Ashley Morrison, Sophie Fry, Alexandra Newton, Isabel Goldsmith, and Maddie Spano. So no Mickey Spano. Steve Button is the coach of the Southern Storm. Southern Storm will be wearing the yellow. Eastern States are wearing the blue. So we are getting very, very close to this. We've got Lucky Pole as one of our umpires, and you're going to help me out with the other name. The other umpire?
That appears to be Matt Knight from here. I'm trying for him to turn around.
Turn around, Matt.
Yeah, it does seem like Matt Knight.
And the gentleman that both of us had a memory fade and forgot his name, Peter DeLacy. He is the man who is on the microphone at the moment. So, the high performance unit in Hugh Purvis. He's the leader of the high performance unit in Hockey SA. This is his brainchild. He'll be looking forward to this, won't he?
Yeah, I think he's probably a little bit disappointed he can't play as he's coaching the Southern Storm men's team. But I think he's still excited for what's going to happen. They're just announcing the team list at the moment.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what we've talked about. What we talked about is just a step up. So everyone's getting their names read out. There are a few people here. There's some hardy people who've set up on the hill over the other side. So it's generating some interest, isn't it, across the hockey community, this Super League idea.
Yeah, so it's just that's next step to 21s and AHL and creating that more of a professional league that is an easier stepping stone for these athletes. So when they go away, they're used to standing up, your name calling out, being live streamed, and all of those things that we just don't get as often as we'd like.
Yeah, and like as we talked about in the pregame, it is about playing at a higher level, because one of the problems that's always been, specifically in South Australian sport, is the level that we play in week in, week out. We're not to belittle the level we play at, but we want to see, good competitive hockey on a week in, week out basis.
Yeah, then this just gives us that, so having that, 3 teams combined into one, you're going to just have a higher quality of athlete playing week in, week out, and it's a good 7-week tournament with obviously the final being held later in the year. So, it should be exciting. This is going to be a good matchup between the Saints and the Storm to start us off.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it. As we said, the Storm are in yellow, the Saints are in blue. I'm going to try and work through that. I'll try and get through it. We'll get through it as best we can. What I'll do is I'll talk to David at some point. We'll have a little free kick counter in the corner, in the bottom corner, how many times I say it. But once on Sunday in 2 games, so hopefully that won't be the same tonight. So we'll just see who's going to start with the ball. It appears that it's going to be the Saints will start with the ball.
No, the Storm.
Storm will start with the ball, just to start off as we mean to go on. So, top level hockey is ready to go again from Jeps Cross. Week 1 of the Statewide Super League. 15-minute quarters. Signals and the whistle, and we are off and running.
So just
the Storm have started with the ball, just tried to pass it around the back. The Saints don't really want to give them the time to do it, but they have got it back.
So you can always already see the level of competition and the intensity in the first, 30 seconds. So we can see that both teams going for it, even though this isn't really for points or anything in particular, but just pride.
Yeah, first overhead of the night, which is something that we talked about, something I actually spoke to Melody Cooper about before tonight, really. So Evans will get a stick on the ball. Had the ball a couple of times early on. Just happy to play around the back. Hold that one short a little bit, but they do manage to work it through with McLaughlin. Storm will look to fire forward. Then they will go again. Then a little tap through. That one will find its way for Kate Holland-Smith, who tries to round the keeper. Didn't get the shot she wanted, so fires it across. So close to our opening goal of the statewide Super League. Cody Lewis was hanging around at the back post.
It's a good counter-attack opportunity there by the Storm, catching the Saints just, slow to get back and early.
Evans will cough it up, and the Storm can look to move. With Bussico sends it forward to Lucy Holland-Smith. She'll work towards the centre, but it gets cut out by Grist. They will manage to work it back in. One of the first circle entries we've seen tonight, and we will get to see our first penalty corner of the 2018 Statewide Super League. So this, I would assume, would be the moment that is going to be the most difficult in these early days, sorting out your set piece, specifically the penalty corner. How much time have these teams had together to work through this stuff?
Probably half an hour.
Right, yeah.
To an hour maybe. I think we've got our meeting at about half time of this game, so about 7:20. So you get about an hour to work out who's doing what your hierarchies are, and straight into it.
So the injection comes. Trap is good. First fire at goal. First goal. 100% from the short corners. That's what we want to see. Just see whether we can pick who scored that one.
I think it's Emma DeBro on the hit.
So Emma DeBro from Seacliff, that were in the number 2. Gets the first goal. That's something she can hang her hat on. We are off and running again. No stopping. Grist will control. Look to outlet to Evans. Just knocked away from her, but the Saints will be able to go again.
What's going to be really exciting, as we've just seen there, Em and Holly switching positions.
Yeah.
And just our ability in this competition to roll through lines. You see players playing multiple positions rather than just being pigeonholed as you're the best player, you play that central position, or you're playing this,
That one is knocked away. We're just getting Dan Mitchell joining our commentary team for a short moment.
I think
giving his example, but so when we had the ball, get a DM. That one's not going to. It is going to beat the player out. And Grist is playing quite high. She's obviously playing that right back role for the moment. She'll fire it down the line. It will go into the corner, and that will be a long corner. I think that's Chloe Carter. So they'll come out. Grist again will have first possession. Plays it short to Evans. Evans in a crowd, but does keep the ball. Lovely little slip pass through. The Saints will have a chance on goal. Good save. And it's gone behind. So Emma Verrill earning her transfer, earning a transfer fee. And weathering the storm for the first time. So the Storm over on that far side. We'll look to go. Talked about rolling. I mean, we've got 4 substitutions ready to go in front of us for the Saints. The Storm will try and go through the middle. It's picked off by McLaughlin. McLaughlin will get her head up. There is a pass there if she can find it. She's got a foot though. Advantage, but nothing coming. All the way back. Just fired in there. Still bouncing around, and it will finally come out. The Storm slightly under the pump in the opening moments of this game.
So we're going to see Coach Melody Cooper's first appearance in the Statewide League Super.
Gets the ball very, very early on. Head up, down into the corner, but nobody there. Again, they will look down the line. It's cut off. Still in there. It's spending a lot of time in that 25 of the Storm. Haven't really been able to find an outlet in this first 5-6 minutes of this game.
That must be a credit to Dan Mitchell and Melody Cooper to play a really aggressive press and try to win the ball up high the ground, and it's putting the Storm on the back foot.
So they're going to have to try and play around the back to try and play their way out. Now they will be able to get their head up.
Buzzcoat burning through the middle. She's got options to her left. She finds Holland Smith.
Holland Smith just caught in possession by McLaughlin. McLaughlin does well to get control of it. Then we'll just put it a little bit too far out in front. And the changes start to come. So Goldsmith will bring us in. Again, we'll go all the way back to Spano. Spano will send it out to the right. They'll just knock it out, and the Storm relieving the pressure somewhat. Starting to get in there. But that being said, they are leading where it counts.
Yep, taking advantage of their opportunities going forward. Probably haven't had the same amount of opportunities and circle entries, but 2 good goal shots, 1 missed by the back post, and then Em DeBro obviously putting that short corner hit in.
Well, that's a interesting little deflection. So the Saints start to go forward, head up. Saw her pass, just intercepted by Bussico. Bussico will send it forward to Holland Smith. Then it will move out to the right-hand side for the Storm, down the line, all the way to DeBro. DeBro will try and bring it back inside, but it comes off a deflection and it will be a long corner. You will notice as well tonight that the ball gets put back into play a lot quicker. We have ball kits, which I think was a suggestion from one of our Facebook crowd from last year. The ball kids are here. Does well catching it and managing to keep it in. Poked away eventually, and that will go for a corner. Morrison working hard down in that bottom corner. So Newton will look to restart the Storm. Again, happy to try and work down into that corner. Then send it across. Comes off a Storm stick last, so it will come out. Out to this side to Grist. Grist will send it one more down the line to Waters. Too fast for Waters though. Sorry, not Waters, Hoffman. So the Storm will look to come out again. They are just trapped in that bottom corner, and they will come back very, very quickly again. Across the face, but nobody there.
A good searching ball by Sam McKenna. Unfortunately, wasn't able to find any of her teammates in that circle.
There was just nobody there. I mean, probably just going to take these teams a little bit of time to bed together. That one's come into the middle. Good trap, just couldn't get a swing on it. And then she does eventually and just misses everything and will come out for a 25-yard hit. Yards or meters? Should know that by now.
25 yards.
It is yards?
25 yards, 23 metres.
23 metres, but we like yards. Hashtag bring back the Imperial. Out to that right-hand side. Then they will try and fire it forward and get there, but the Storm can rebuild again. Storm will go all the way back, probably try and play around the back again. Hoffman putting a little bit of pressure on. They come out to this left-hand side to Fry. Fry will send it inboard. Then they will look down the right, head down a little bit, does get the circle entry, just a corner. It's kind of what we expected. I mean, other than that penalty corner, it's kind of what we expected. Just little bit misplaced passes just because they're getting used to each other, but the skill level is there. That one's a little reverse passing through, but cut out by the Saints, and it will go out to that far side to Cass. Cass was just happy to send it forward.
The Saints look very comfortable in that aggressive press. I think they're quite happy to burn the ball forward, set themselves, and win the ball in their attacking half.
I mean, they are down on the scoreboard, but don't seem overly panicked at the moment. And next question, if I get there, because Buchecker has played it backwards. What happens if it's a draw? Do we have draws? Are we going to one-on-ones? What's happening?
I'm not actually quite sure. There was an announcement, but I didn't read the full details like I probably should have.
I want to see one-on-ones.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was one-on-ones.
Got to have a winner.
I think that's... I can't see Hugh Purvis allowing a draw, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were one-on-one shootout at the end of the game. I'm not sure if it'd be a best of 3 or 5 though.
So we're seeing a lot of the girls are comfortable on the ball, which is what you would expect at this level. Everybody's comfortable on the ball. They're all trying to find passes. But as well as the skill level when attacking has gone up, the skill level when defending has also gone up. That one is sent across, very, very nearly intercepted, but it will get out there to Mutton. Mutton will send it down the line, but it is cut off. Mutton gets it back, looks for a little slip pass, but gets the free hit. Gets a head up. Had Grist available, decides she wants to go forward, fires it forward. May have found a foot, and she does. Autoplay straight away. Circle entry, still going, still going, still going. And now the Storm can finally get out there. Then they will look for a little outlet pass to the left-hand side. Holland Smith, I think that is, just dropped that backwards. Put her teammate under a little bit of pressure, but she's done very, very well. Beats the first couple. Now the Storm can look to go again. Hoffman sent it forward, but again the Storm will just reject it and move out. So starting to see that the pace picking up as they're getting more and more comfortable with it.
The ball kids also allow that counter-attack style of hockey, so this will be a quick, fast-paced game, and given that we've got the substitutions, it should start like that for the full 60 minutes.
Loose pass from Mutton and allowed Busico to get going forward. Busico gets stopped. It's just a draw, no shootouts, I'm being told. Hashtag shootouts.
Bring back the shootout.
DeBro gets the circle entry. Saints will have to work hard to get out of here. It's done well. Nice stick work down there on the byline, but
no one's presenting for
2
Waters.
minutes. 2 minutes is a long time to keep it down there. Good pressure. Nice little, tiny little overhead to try and get out of there. It's gone out of play. Another corner. So that will come out to Fry, who will try and launch it in again. Tide has turned somewhat. McLaughlin will try and send it forward to Grist, just the wrong side of Grist, couldn't quite get there. Poked away by Hoffman. Back again to Spano, we'll send it out to that far side and try to go down the line to Kate Holland-Smith. H1 and H2 doesn't really have the same ring as B1 and B2 did on Sunday, does it? A lot of pressure coming in their own half as well. Spano will fire it out to the left-hand side to Fry. Fry will try and find an outlet, but again, the press from the Saints is good. She'll play to herself. Send it down the line. Cut out by Bridgeland. Bridgeland will send it forward to McLaughlin. McLaughlin's got options. Little reverse pass. Comes off a stick. How quickly are they going to go? Quick enough, McLaughlin. Again, will beat a couple and get the circle entry, but came off her foot eventually. Close control in the early stages of this game is really something like, how many times have I said beats one, then beats the other?
Yeah, the skill level, as we've spoken about, is going to be quite elite, but in saying that, the defensive level should be lifted as well, and we should see less broken tackles as the stages get later into the game. Sorry, lost my track of thought.
Well, yeah, someone I noticed is joining and watching us on Facebook is Sarah Harry. She's going to have her work cut out when she plays. I'm assuming she's going to play for the Pirates. As we reach quarter time for the first time in the statewide Super League. So quarter time here at the State Hockey Centre at Kepps Cross. The Storm leading this one 1-0, but you would suggest that the Saints seem to be on top for the majority of it, but Storm started to come back into it. Be interesting to see, whether there's a big difference with 4 quarters or 2 halves as to whether, they can. It allows the coaches to make changes quicker. It gives them the chance to get those coaches there.
Yeah, we'll see more momentum shifts and the ability for coaches to have an immediate impact. So rather than waiting the full 35 minutes to be able to make some on-field changes, you'll see quicker things. Presses will change, outletting structures, and it just makes the game more of a chess match and such, rather than just waiting till the end or waiting till half-time to get your P's and Q's in.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, and okay, so if you are Dan Mitchell and you're a goal down, but you're a goal down to the one penalty corner that you've conceded, it's not time to panic, is it?
No, absolutely not. So we've just seen that how quickly you can score goals in this format. So I don't think the pressure would be on until probably the last quarter if they're still chasing the lead. But I think he'd probably want his team to take their chances when they do go forward, because they've had a lot of opportunities, but they probably haven't had the same amount of outcomes or attacking chances as the Storm have had in their probably 3 or 4 circle entries.
Yeah, and I think that's been a thing. They've spent a long time in the opposition half. They spent a long time in and around the Storm 25, but the finishing of it has not been brilliant. And the one time that we saw a good ball across the face of the goal, there's nobody in a blue shirt there. And I think that's something that he's going to want to work on as we go through. But goalkeeper-wise, not much for either of them to do. Verrill did have a save to do. I mean, it's an interesting question. So you come into this game, you're Emma Verrill, you come into this game knowing that you've been selected to play for this team. So obviously they've gone, well, we want a goalkeeper, we need a goalkeeper, and we think she's the best goalkeeper that we can get. Is there any level of pressure on her for that, do you think?
I don't think she'd have any pressure. I think she'd be excited by the opportunity. Obviously, she might be a little bit disheartened not being selected by her zone, but I think that's due to the 21s team getting preference in their zone. So I think she might have been drafted outside of that due to that cause. But I think she'd be excited. She obviously enjoys the state program. She's been a long-serving state member, so I can't see the pressure getting to her at this point.
We should mention as well Just Hockey, who were involved with this and the sponsorship of this. They've supplied all the kit for all the teams, men's and women's. So thank you very much to Just Hockey for that. So the Storm will restart us. We'll send it back to Herbert. Couple of changes, so Spano's not back in that sweeper position. Herbert will get it back, get her head up, send it inside to Busico. Busico will look forward, finds a run, good strong challenge by Evans. I thought they were going to let that go. A little bit hard done by Evans there, I think. And then we'll come out to the left to Dubrow. Dubrow will fire it across, and again, nobody there. So they're much more direct from the Storm that time. Thought Evans just stood her ground, but Lockie Pole decided against it. That one is fired forward, just not able to control it, Carter. And that one will go harmlessly behind for a 25.
We've seen a direct approach in the first 2 outlets by both teams. So maybe they've seen that the press is quite weak through the middle and try to exploit it.
Yeah.
So a good intercept by Hoffman. She's got space in front, elects to go that long chaos ball.
Gone there, she's found the Carter in the middle. Carter will just loop it up, but illegally. It's gone a little bit too high, but that's the first time that we've seen a cross ball with a blue shirt in the middle to try and do something with it.
So that's clearly been a focus by Mitchell to get the players getting numbers forward as soon as they recognise they've got a counter-attack opportunity.
So the Storm will look down that right-hand side. Goes one more. Morrison just unable to bring it under control, but had it poked away, so the Storm will regain it within the 25. And it will come back to the top of the circle. Blocked just on the outside. And the Saints will be able to relieve the pressure with a free hit inside the 25. I think that's Shand out there. He'll send it forward to McLaughlin. McLaughlin comes back, happy to go back to Shand. Shand has two options back in the circle. And it will come all the way out to Evans. Evans put under pressure early, but gets ahead up. Good outlet pass over on that far side to Shand. Shand will look down the line to Carter. Carter had it poked away.
And good dynamic outlet there, going from that back four shape into a back three, finding open space on both sides of the field.
Umpire just wanted to play that from where he wanted it to, all the way back to Cooper, who's gone into that sweeper roll, sends it out to McLaughlin. McLaughlin comes back inside, fires it towards the centre. So the Storm will look to come away, then fire it forward. No one's going to get that. So Cooper, we talked about this when we watched the Premier League last year. You generally find your most experienced players will play that sweeper role, that almost quarterback role. Cooper's sat in that. The Storm, obviously, they seem to have a younger player back there in Newton. She's been playing since six, so, you know.
So in hockey years, she's not, quite young. She's quite experienced. I think she plays that role for her club, Seacliff.
So Gray down the line, will be able to go one more. The Saints do have a circle entry, kicked away by Verrill. It's going to come back quickly though. Gray will fire it across. Little deflection by McKenna, but behind, safely so. Is Mitchell's coaching in his climber calls? We'll have a look, we'll see. And it's nice to have you back with us, Dylan Evans. Of course, we are live and interactive on Facebook. Wherever you are, you have any questions for Brody, then let us know. So McLaughlin will make that circle entry. Gets a chance to shoot on goal. McLaughlin evens it up. Waltz past a couple. Finds the bottom right-hand corner of the keeper.
And gets rewarded with a substitution at the end. So similar to that AFL, you get rewarded to get your break.
Yep, the AFL is a lot to answer for that.
But it's good to see that the Saints getting some reward for their attacking flow and getting numbers forward. So squared up 1-1, 10 to go in the second quarter before half time.
Intercepted by Bridgeland, but it does bounce the Storm's way. There is a runner there if she could find her. She just couldn't, but she'd go down the line. They will get another circle entry. There looked like there might have been a foot there. Umpire keeps his whistle away. Just a push in. So the Storm down in that far right-hand corner. Under 10 minutes to go to half-time. That one will run away. I mean, the little things, as Cooper gets ahead up and looks to restart from the back, but the little things, it's the ability not to go and have to chase a ball behind, which is what you will see in AHL. So we'll be more ready.
Yeah, which is more running for us strikers, setting up the press, getting ahead of the ball. But it does make the game quicker and it flows better. So rather than here, usually we have to wait 5 to 10 seconds to get the ball. We see Shan on the ball straight away, and she's able to catch the defense napping.
We saw there was a great example of that. Of course, Yo-Yo, I forgot about the Yo-Yo, the Yo-Yo nickname. I have to say though, in the time that it's been since I saw her last, she appears to have gone through a growth spurt. Good pressure up front though. The Storm can try and look to come out. DeBro just miscontrols it, so the Saints can go again. Talbot will restart. Just can't get out of that bottom right-hand corner. Talbot again takes on a couple, then tried to slip a pass through to Evans. Sorry, that's Pennington. They've done the old thing where they swap the shirt numbers around on me. Grist will look, just reverses it out onto this right-hand side. Then they'll fire it in. Nobody touched it. So the Storm can come away. So the Storm looking to build on that right side, which they have done quite a lot through this second quarter. Then they'll send it inside to DeBro. DeBro will look to take on Shan. Shan got a stick on it. Comes back towards DeBro.
So the simple shift in the Storm's outletting structure going from a back through to a back four has allowed them to overload their right side, and that's what you can see Alexandra Newton there getting that reward for that overload. As we can see, the Saints got that overload, and they've got Hattie Shand out here on the right, and that's what the back four allows you to do, is push one of your halfbacks up.
So they have swapped, so Shand will fire it down the line to Pennington. Pennington with a couple to beat. Beats the first one, can't keep it in though. Poked away from her, so it's their ball. Shand will fire it towards the front of goal. There was a blue shirt there, she just deflected it the wrong way round. Shandu swapped over to this right-hand side. She'll have first stick on it. Comes back to Grist. Grist happy to go to Evans. Evans will send it out to that left-hand side. McLaughlin has an outlet on the left. Picks it up. Gets a head up early. Doesn't beat the challenge, but it will come out to Grist. Grist will get into the 25. Didn't quite get the circle entry. We'll get it back. Oh, just went off the reverse stick. Very, very quick reactions from Verrill. Then it will go down into that corner. Hoffman peels.
Just turns
and
the long
gets
corner.
rewarded. Shand will send it down into the right-hand corner. Makes Hoffman work, but Hoffman gets there. She will send it back to Shand, but it's cut out. Now the Storm will look to counter-attack. Just stopped and propped. Then look to Holland Smith. Holland Smith just tried to find a way through Holly Evans. Didn't find that way through. Blue checker will send it forward. And they'll come back, just miscontrolled. Just a awkward spot for Goldsmith to try and pick it up.
Yeah, we call them handbrake passes. And this pass just behind you when your momentum's going forward. They're really hard to trap, and that's just a miscommunication thing.
So Pennington wanted to go, wasn't allowed. Moulton will send it all the way back to Grist. Grist under pressure almost immediately. Probably because of that pressure from Holland Smith of the cake variety. Pass was a little bit loose.
So Storm sending a lot of numbers forward, which is forcing the Saints press just to fall out, which was giving, as you can see, Maddie Spano giving her plenty of time on the ball back there.
So she's gone back into that sweeper role. There's an option out on that far right-hand side. Again, they will look down the line, but nobody had made that run. So 25. Just under 5 minutes to go in this half, in the second quarter. All the way back to McLaughlin. McLaughlin taking up the sweeper reins now. She'll fire it out to that far side. Nice move around the outside from Moulton, and then Moulton will look to send it. Just waited for that pass. Had a pocket picked by Spano, but Moulton has done well to follow it up. Then we'll be able to send it inside to Cass. Cass will get a circle entry. Couldn't get a shot on goal though. And a penalty corner for the Saints. First one of the day for the Saints. And apologies to Laura Mutton. That's my handwriting, not Laura Moulton.
Handwriting of a doctor.
After us complaining about the team sheets, it's terrible. Okay, so single battery, 3-1 on the line for the Storm. Injection comes in. Trap just stopped her a little bit. Went with the hit, went wide. So talking about skills, and got Tim coming, I think, in the second half, because you've got to go and get ready for yours. He'll talk us through these skills, but the drag flick there would help, wouldn't it?
Yelena McLaughlin's got a drag flick that she uses in the Premier League quite consistently, so I wouldn't be surprised if they'd go to that option later in the game. But that first short corner, you're trying to see what the Storm are going to run. You run a simple, straight option. In this case, they went with the hit.
McLaughlin with the intercept, gets ahead up early. That pass, just intercepted, but they were on. They could have broken out to Hoffman. So the Storm will come all the way back and restart. Send it back to Spano. Spano returns the favour, gives it back to Buchecker, but she's under a little bit of pressure from Hoffman. Hoffman working hard on that striker line. Just a little bit of miscontrol, and Cass pounced on it, then sends it into McLaughlin. McLaughlin gets ahead up early. Then we'll find early ball forward to Grist. Grist had it taken off her, but not legally. One of the things that I'm most impressed about watching Yo-Yo is that as soon as she gets control of that ball, her head comes up. She's looking for a pass straight away. Look on the right-hand side. A try for the circle entry, just doesn't come. Storm trying to play with it, wanting a little bit too much time. Carter gives away the free hit. Spano will wander up to it. For the Storm, looking to rebuild. The pressure on that front line, this time from Carter, is really starting to show for this Saints side as Hoffman worked hard again. Mutton beat the first one, couldn't beat Buzzico.
And again, I think there's just been that tempo shift. Both teams know they're getting an extended break just before the half. Both going a little bit more aggressive, trying to get that momentum shift into halftime.
Buchecker sent it out to Spano. Spano will send it down the line. Nice little slip pass down the line, but that's cut out by Evans. Good challenge though on that far side. Now they've got a little bit of time and space. Now they look for that circle entry, but a long corner.
So while the ball kids are just learning how to throw the ball on and when the times are, you'll see a couple of times early on that they might just get two balls onto the field at once.
There was an appeal there for a penalty corner. None coming though. Yeah, it was interesting to see actually when the two teams went into their huddle for quarter time, so did the ball kids. Getting their feedback. I was actually more intrigued by that one.
Yeah, and it's a difficult thing because you're put under a lot of pressure. You don't think that you're going to be used as much, but there's 7 balls, 6 kids. They're trying to work it out and trying to communicate. So it's almost a learning experience for them as well.
Umpire's not happy with where it came from, much to the chagrin of the crowd. Wanted to see fast hockey. It's a good little tussle in midfield between Buzzico and McLaughlin. McLaughlin wins that one, gets a head up again. Then we'll try and find that pass, but Buzzico, smart play, put herself in the way. Managed to intercept. Now the Storm had an option down the line, just got her head down a little bit. Evans will pick a pocket and send it back, then get it back. Has to work in a very, very short amount of space, but did enough. Change there, and Shand will return to the fray. Nice turn. Cooper gets a head up, finds Shand. Shand one-on-one with Lewis, and Lewis wins that battle. Finds Buzzico. Buzzico will send it back to Holland Smith. Holland Smith beats the first one. Then we'll try and send it down the line, but Shand was there. Shand just pumps it down the line, probably just to release a little bit of pressure.
The last 20 seconds.
Someone should just go down half-time. Remind Mr. Mitchell that we can hear what he says. Make sure he keeps it G-rated. The Storm will go back. Probably just play out the clock, get to half-time with a draw. And there is half-time. So half-time. Saints and the Storms all tied up, 1 apiece. 1 penalty corner apiece. McLaughlin with the goal for the East. And DeBro with the goal for the South. So ladies and gentlemen, we will just step away shortly. Don't go wherever you go. Go and get a cup of tea, go to the bathroom. Now's the time to do it. Join us again for another 2 quarters of very, very exciting statewide Super League hockey.
Have you thought about what your retirement looks like? Maybe overseas travel, a move to a place with a slower pace, or something else. Whatever your plan, will you have enough super? As your super team, we'll help you find and consolidate your super. expertly manage your money, and be there with you every step of the way. So, whatever your retirement dreams, find out how much super you need with Statewide Super. Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance. Have you thought about what your retirement looks like? Maybe overseas travel, a move to a place with a slower pace, or something else. Whatever your plan, will you have enough super? As your super team, we'll help you find and consolidate your super, expertly manage your money, and be there with you every step of the way. So, whatever your retirement dreams, find out how much super you need with Statewide Super. Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
To be the quickest.
Most dangerous.
Most resilient.
To play for glory. For pride. To thrill.
So welcome back to the State Hockey Centre for half number 2 of this very first statewide Super League game. We did mention Just Hockey before. They are the uniform sponsor. They were established 32 years ago, and they are an Australia premier retailer of hockey equipment and a proud supporter of hockey at all levels. Just Hockey sponsors Hockey Australia and all state associations, as well as assisting junior, elite and masters players in a number of sponsorship programs. Thank you very much to Just Hockey. They do a great job. We can see the people rugged up in the stands. It's chilly again, isn't it? Oh, and welcome, actually, Tim. Tim White, how the devil are you? Been a while since we spoke to you.
Thanks, Dave. It has been a while. It was the
grand
final day.
Nostradamus-like.
When
predicted
Buzzico stepped up and got the job done. So, no, it's good to be back. Thanks.
No, it's good to have you back. We can't wait to speak to you again. Okay, first of all, your thoughts on this statewide Super League idea?
I love it. I think it's been so well received by the players and the hockey community. It's added a real kind of zest in terms of just changing up what they normally do and gives them a chance to play in a high performance environment, which is fantastic.
Which is what we want, and we talked about that through the first half. And we are underway for the third quarter, Premiership quarter as it's normally known. Shand will send it back to Evans. Evans will try and send it forward, but it's cut out by Morrison. But Evans will get it back. Then she will look infield to Bridgeland. Bridgeland will send it back to McLaughlin. McLaughlin sends it far right to Grist. Grist will get her head up. Not happy with what's in front, so goes back to Shand. Shand will send it out to Mutton. Mutton has McLaughlin in front of her. McLaughlin will again get her head up. Sees nothing she likes, so goes back to Mutton. Gets it back quickly. Inside of that 25 again. Reverse sticks it back into the circle. Evans kind of gave herself up then.
Holly Evans did put her hand up and say that hit my foot. So
very good of her. Spirit of the game. And then neither umpire gave it. So
no?
she was almost arguing with the umpires to give it against her.
Yeah, you don't often see that.
No, it's actually gone to the Saints. So McLaughlin will play to herself, then look down that baseline. She does very well, gets a circle entry. Free hit outside.
She has been a good player tonight, McLaughlin. She's obviously scored the goal, but on top of that, she's been a pretty key performer for them.
Everything they've done seems to go through McLaughlin as they get another circle entry. A lot of traffic in there, waiting for that loud blast for a penalty corner. Not coming, but another free hit outside. Did mention Yo-Yo McLaughlin a couple of times in the first half.
Yeah, no, she had a lot of the ball.
Evans with the overhead, out to the back to Grist. Good control by Grist. Beats the first one. Another free hit just outside. Starting to pile up for the Storm.
Yeah, well, they've come out with some field ascendancy.
Still bouncing around in there. It will break. It will be a shot on goal. Hits her own player. Still bouncing around. Still going. Waiting on a whistle. Goal scored. This time by, let's see, Pennington.
I think it was Ali Pennington. So yeah, it was just basically a bit of circle pressure, and the ball was bouncing around there, and someone needed to put it in. And Ali does score quite a few goals in her club comp for Adelaide, so she was there at the right time.
Just a schmozzle's probably not the right word, but
yeah,
it was a bit messy.
It was a bit scrappy.
Good umpiring though, because we watched that a couple of times. There was no feet in there or anything.
Yep.
So good umpiring. Well done. I'm sure he'll be pleased with the compliment from me. Evans will find McLaughlin. McLaughlin will get her head up, then just shift it out left to Mutton. Mutton just couldn't control it though.
So a bit of a challenge now faced by the Storm. They started well, got the early goal, but now they find themselves one down.
That one is fired backwards to Spano. Spano will lock out to the left. Made it hard work for Dubrow. Dubrow couldn't get there.
Scored a nice goal, Dubrow, off the corner in the first half.
Well, I did think, my mind immediately went to yourself and friend of the show, Darren Nimekey, when we were 100% penalty corners. That's the percentage you want to see as a coach, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, you don't mind that. Not if you're an opposition coach.
But it was one of those parts of the game that we thought maybe a little bit lacking, as the teams have had half an hour together before this one.
Yeah.
But it seemed to work.
I mean, in a way, but they're all, skillful players and the best players in the comp. So
McLaughlin will pick the pocket, get a circle entry, does bounce around and come across. Little touch, tries to get it back to Hoffman, but the Storm can come away. Dubrow happy to sort of back off and then look to play around the back. Good pressure though from the Saints. To see whether they'll get a reward from it. Pressure is still there. McLaughlin gets a touch on it to Evans. McLaughlin will get it back. Then she will flick it into the circle. Circle is there! Goes wide. Now, I don't know. We'll have a look on the replay.
I think you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Did Cass deflect that away?
She may have. She may have. Hard to tell.
She didn't put her hand up to say sorry, so we'll assume not.
I think we give her the benefit of the doubt.
Did look like it in real time though, didn't it? Anyway, back to the hockey as Shand looks to restart. Goes down the line to Pennington. Pennington will fire it across.
So the Storm would be looking for a bit of possession here because they haven't had much of it in the first 5 minutes.
It's a little bit of deja vu from the beginning of the game. The forward line pressure from the Saints is almost relentless at the moment.
It is.
Storm just have no chance to get on the ball. Cooper gets it out to Gray. Gray one-handed down the left-hand side, then tries to slip the reverse pass, doesn't quite get there. Spano will pick it up, finds the pass, just evades Evans. There's an outlet, just didn't quite get there. Gave herself a handball pass. So Evans will start down to McLaughlin. Tried to turn inside, didn't quite get there. Morrison has another go at it, does better this time, and will get it back. Gets a head up, fires it forward, picks out a lovely pass. Options left and right. Holland Smith looks to beat Cooper. Cooper, big, strong, just shepherds her on the outside. Obviously she co-coached with Cheney last year.
In the hot shots, she did.
In the hot shots, so obviously learnt a thing or two from Cheney.
Being big and strong. And she's co-coaching here tonight, isn't she?
Yes, with Dan Mitchell, but
Dan.
she's got to play.
Yeah, well, I think Dan now has probably left his coaching post to get ready for his game, which is in following the women's game tonight.
Well, in fairness to Mitchell, we have noticed his absence because it's gone quiet on that sideline.
That's right.
So Cooper looks to start again. Goes all the way down the line, just a little bit too far in the front of Harkness. That's the time where we want to see people dive on the front.
Yeah, that was a good ball by Mel Cooper.
Just don't think she read it as quickly as Mel Cooper did. So the Storm will go again. Find Busico. Busico will send it back. Another loose one. Spano will get across though. Good pressure again from Carter. Just bounced up and hit her, so Spano can relax and reset and release the pressure.
Yeah, it's. I'm just trying to see how the Storm will work their way back into it, because through the middle of the field at the moment, the Saints seem to have the ascendancy, but
Griss just bullocking her way through. There will be another circle entry. A lot of appealing. Nothing coming. Bridgeland. And then something eventually does come. Don't think Busico agreed, but she's got to go and get kitted up. So, second penalty corner of the night for the East. But yeah, you are right. They have the pressure from the Saints side has been relentless.
Yeah, they've certainly controlled this third quarter. The Storm have looked dangerous on the break, getting forward quickly, but as a general rule, the Saints have controlled more of the play in this quarter.
So Gray, it looks, will inject. It looks like we've got a double battery. McLaughlin, who we talked about, has the drag flick.
She's off.
Still not there.
Yeah.
So see whether we'll go. Evans is there to trap.
Could be
Grist is there to trap.
Amy Waters on the first battery potentially.
Injection is there. Trap is good from Evans. Then the slap almost from Shand.
I think the umpire called it as potentially being too high, but I think Shand looked at the umpire as she may not have agreed.
No, I mean, you know, my eyes aren't the greatest, but that certainly didn't look like it was over knee height. And again, we just saw that pressure. Bridgeland working very, very hard. Excellent work in a small amount of space, but Holland Smith manages to get rid of it. And the Storm will look to rebuild from the back. Holland Smith asks for a short ball, gets it. Surrounded by 3 players, manages to find an outlet to Busico. Busico will send it into midfield, but again, we see the amount of pressure being put on by the Saints.
Yeah, the Storm got forced back there and they'd stretched well with their striker group. That's well played by Dowling though, so here's an opportunity.
So into the 25. Stops on a sixpence, gets the circle entry. Good challenge by Cooper. Then we'll send it out. They will pick it up, fire it down the line. There is a player there. They are 2-on-1.
Oh,
where's that?
The umpire has given that, and I don't often say, I think the umpire was right on that one.
Okay, no, good. Well, no, very, very quickly. We've got a very quick look at it on that one. We'll have a check of that and replay here. Oh, it's close. Very, very close. We'll have a look at that one frame by frame till later on tonight.
We will.
So the overhead. Good to see the overhead from the girls. Then the 3D skills. McLaughlin will try and prevent that going down the line, but it does get down the line. Pocket picked again. That one definitely was out.
That was definitely out. It was well played by Amy Waters. She's got good hands, so she was also the one who threw the aerial before. She's got a good outletting game, as you see there.
Big long pass over that right-hand side to Shand. Grist has gone back into that sweeper role, allowing Evans to patrol the middle of the park. Bridgeland does everything she could to keep it in, but couldn't manage it.
Coaches continuing to rotate heavily, as you would with a talented squad in each group.
Well, I would imagine that a level of rotation allows you to go and get your players out there to work on that pressure.
Definitely.
Go and keep going till you can't go anymore, and then there's someone who's going to come and replace you and run at 100% as well.
Yep, and that's something that we don't always see in the Premier League comp, in terms of the depth and the ability to go to your extra players.
Well, the coaches know that they've got a squad of the best players from the 3 clubs, so they know that what they're putting on is equal to and sometimes better than the players they're taking off.
Exactly.
But the Storm, again, will get their head up. Holland Smith looks for her outlet, then decides to just reverse it. Nice little reverse pass, acres of space. Saints backing off a little bit. Grist does well to prevent that finding a target.
Just thought that was Shannon Herbert on the ball. It was really well set up by Lucy Holland-Smith, but she potentially could have driven forward a bit harder and tried to set up a 2-on-1.
So another free hit down in that corner. Emma Dubrow working hard down there. Will play to herself, then try and beat her on the byline. And we'll get a free hit for her troubles.
Clever skills there from Dubrow.
She's working in a very, very confined space, but did well. That one will pop up and go the way of the Saints. See Bridgeland on screen there. She's done a fair amount of work. Dubrow again will work to that byline. Very, very good. Close control. Will keep going. Poked away eventually for another corner.
Yeah, it was a dangerous entry there. I think Grist might have made a good tackle.
So they will look back to Spano. Spano will fire it forward. Bounces around on the edge of the circle. Umpires let it go. McLaughlin out the back. We just have to send it away. Anywhere will do at the moment. Nice little reverse pass from Evans though. Back to McLaughlin. McLaughlin will stop on a dime. Send it across the Shan. Dangerous ball. The Storm have managed to intercept. Holland Smith runs straight at Grist. Past Grist. Fires it across the front of goal. Another scrappy little fight in front. Still bouncing around there. Finally it goes out for the 25-yard hit.
Well, I mean, it was a really good opportunity set up with a good drive into the circle by Holland Smith, and was well saved in the end. Is that Grace Henderson in the net?
Yes, it is Grace Henderson. He's still bouncing around in there. So, the Saints, good overhead, all about the control, just couldn't bring it down. Goldsmith will get it under control. Pressure is still coming from the Saints. Good ball down the line, that's going to be picked off by Grist. Grist will get a head up, look to go back to Waters, I think. Or just passed without looking a little bit, but Waters will get them out of trouble. I don't know whether it's because the Storm have done a better job looking after McLaughlin, but we certainly haven't called her name as much for the last couple of minutes.
No, I mean, she had an involvement before. She did recently have a rest, but yeah, she's still, I think, you know, going to be the key player coming into this final quarter.
Oh, lovely move. And then she can work forward. Just got caught up underneath her feet. Still looking for that ball, just didn't go where she wanted it to go. Now the Storm can release. DeBro had to go to ground. Evans does very, very well, gets a head up, looked again for that reverse pass, but did find the feet of DeBro. DeBro looking questioningly at Lockie Bowl.
It's not the only time she'll do it, I don't think.
Evans fires it across. Good ball, circle entry, shot on goal, good save, still bouncing around in there. Penalty corner. It got stuck in her pads.
It did get stuck in her pads. A good opportunity fell to Georgina Bridgeland. She doesn't actually have a lot of shots on goal. More of a defensive midfielder, but in the end, Verrill made the save, but corner given.
Oh, Evans picked the pass, and she had a mountain of time and space in there.
She did. So McLaughlin, or Yo-Yo as we call her, on the first battery, and Waters. So that's actually a pretty dangerous battery.
Well,
I mean, Amy's got a good hit. Yo-Yo can flick or hit.
The drag flick was something we talked about a lot in the women's game, so we want to see a drag flick. So McLaughlin on the first one with Griss, Evans on the second one with Waters. There it is. There is the flick. Good save, but didn't manage to get all the way through. Verrill got her right leg to it, could not stop it through. McLaughlin gets her second goal of the game.
Yep, so well executed corner. You know, McLaughlin, a developing drag flicker at this stage, you know, more predominantly flicks low, which a lot of the women do when they're developing their drag flick, but not being able to dealt with by Emma Verrill in the net there.
Verrill, I thought for a moment she got to it, which is why I said good save. She did get a right leg to it, unfortunately. Didn't get enough on it. So the Storm really with backs to the wall now. That one's fired. Good save from Henderson. Big, strong hand. And that one will go out.
So that was, yeah, that was a good circle entry and a shot by Emma DeBro as well. She gets a four-stick hit away quickly, but Henderson did deal with it well.
You can hear from up here how hard that DeBro hit it. So Cooper just putting herself in the way of that one. Again, down in that bottom right-hand corner. Made Cooper commit. Bouncing around at the top. Now can the Saints break? Just couldn't control it. So the Storm will look to start again. Loose pass picked up by Evans to McLaughlin. McLaughlin thought about the overhead. Then will look for an outlet. Then drops it off, but she didn't look. And intercepted by the Storm. Now they can build again. Holland Smith will send it out, but their time in the third period, the third quarter just runs out. The East lead this one 3-1. The Saints 3, the Storm 1. As we have a look at the replay of the goal, good trap and the good drag flick. Verrill got a leg to it, just not strong enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was well executed by the Saints and by Yo-Yo, but I think Verrill probably would have liked to have saved that.
No, just, if you wouldn't mind indulging me personally for a little bit as we have this quarter break. What I've seen from the Saints and the pressure that they've put on, I'm going to out myself as a Liverpool fan now. And of course Liverpool play in the European Cup final this Saturday. But they play a style of football which was named heavy metal football. And that's very much what they do. When you don't have the ball, you harass and you harry. And you don't give anybody time to use it. When you do have the ball, you pick your passes, and that's where you get your rest. that's the kind of the play that we're seeing from the Saints.
And I love that style of play. I think Rick Charlesworth, the great gold medal winning hockey coach for the Hockey Roos at a couple of Olympics, won a gold medal with the Kookaburras in the 2014 World Cup. He used to have a saying that when the opposition have the ball, you want to make them feel as uncomfortable as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And then when we have it, we control it. So, yeah, I can see that's what the Saints are setting out to do. You would think that the Storm, with 15 minutes to go and 2 goals down, need to take that sort of pressure to their opposition in this quarter to try and force errors and create opportunities.
Yeah, heavy metal hockey. That's what we want to see. Heavy metal hockey.
Interesting. I like it. It's actually also the mantra of the Matildas, the Australian women's soccer team, football team, because
Yep.
I was lucky enough to hear their coach talk, and they play a high pressure game that forces the opposition into error.
Well, the skilled players, if you give them time and space, as we've seen Yo-Yo throughout the 3 quarters of this game, if you give Yo-Yo time and space, she's going to punish you. So the only way that you can fix that is don't give her time and don't give her space.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think, all going well, we'll see a pretty high tempo quarter of hockey. I mean, even though these girls have all come together from different clubs, I mean, they're highly competitive, and you can see the way in which they're playing. They have real drive to do well. So I'd be surprised if it's not a pretty frantic final quarter.
Yeah, and we look forward to the Storm obviously having to work their way from 2 goals down. I don't think that the Saints are going to sit on a 2-goal lead. I don't think they'll do that. They know that this hockey's about entertainment. And here we go again. McLaughlin will start us off. And they'll come out to Gray. Gray shepherded down the line by Dubrow. Again, that little drop off without looking causes them a little bit of issue. McLaughlin with a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's the sort of pressure we've been talking about.
But they do have the outlet to Shand. Shand with time, sends it inboard. Sends it to Bridgeland. Bridgeland happy to come back to Grist. Whoops. Yep, there she goes.
Oh, there's a chance here. Holland Smith might get to this. No,
Well,
Mutton gets there first.
Mutton got there, but made a little bit of a meal of it. And they can still come going. Holland Smith looks to go down the byline, gets the first one past. Still in there, still bouncing around. Still there. Still in front of the keeper. It's never going to come out. There is a shot on goal and a second shot on goal. Wow.
And that's exactly the sort of pressure that we talked about that the Storm would look to put on the Saints, and it almost resulted in the opening goal of the quarter.
Just bouncing around in there and nobody could seem to get rid of it. I think that was Busico who had a couple of cracks at it. So the Storm again. Maybe a little bit of wind in the sails after that one. It's interesting how things can turn. Waters just lost her footing.
That's a clever
2
ball.
on 2. Whether she can get around the outside. Carter looks to get around the outside. McLaughlin makes the spare player. Just couldn't get that pass across, but McLaughlin will go and win it. Surrounded by yellow shirts. We'll send it out to Gray. Sorry, Carter. Carter working hard. Ball doesn't go out. Carter will go. Then find Grist. That will bounce around. Still there, another appeal. Grist appeals for a penalty corner and they get it.
So I think that was Carly Hoffman for the Saints, who won it onto her forehand and then pulled it onto a foot in the circle. And as we talked about in the last quarter, the Saints would have a loaded battery here with McLaughlin and Waters on the batteries. They've swapped batteries by the look of it this time.
So I think McLaughlin would like to make up for that falling over. I don't know whether we got it on camera. Surely we've saved her.
That was Waters, not McLaughlin.
Waters, yeah. Waters. Injection comes. It is going to be Waters. Waters will fire it across. Good stop, but it's still bouncing around in there. Still going. And then just Cass on the reverse stick couldn't keep it down or put it on target.
Yep, I mean, it looked like Amy Waters was trying to slip that to the across the face of the goal for a deflection, and it almost came off.
So they will rebuild from the back. Nice little flick pass, but couldn't control it. So the Storm are going to be, the Saints are going to be able to come again. Shand will get there. See the Storm getting players on McLaughlin a lot quicker than they were. Evans out on this left-hand side. Just fired it down the left-hand wing, but cut out by the Storm. DeBro just held a little bit short. Free hit goes against her, and we get the classic DeBro glare at the umpire.
I'm glad that you've noticed that.
And we will go again. Just a little bit too far in front. Might just be the lights, but she does look like she's giving him the stink eye every time he blows the whistle.
It's not the lights. I coach her regularly.
Whoa, Evans nearly got away with it, but didn't. Good quick play from the Storm, but Grist is onto it and will cut it out. Gets her head up, has a runner in front of her, finds it. Good challenge though.
Yeah,
That's Spano. No, it's not Spano, sorry.
That's Buhecker, yeah.
Buhecker. I've been calling her Boo Checker all night. I apologize.
So does everyone else.
Good reverse pass into space. There will be another circle entry, but don't know whether they're going to get anything from it. They don't. Shand outlets to Evans. Evans sends it forward. Didn't get anything from it though. Will be a Saints ball though.
It's been an entertaining opening to this quarter. It's only 4 minutes in, and we've had circle entries at either end. So do you expect that to play out in the last 11 minutes?
All the way back to begin again. Missed everyone. Thought that Morrison was going to almost make her way over to that one. So off we go again.
Oh, that's a dangerous ball.
Was it? Buzzico. A little bit of time and space. And we'll fire it across. Just a little bit too tall for everyone.
The old chip tomahawk. You don't see that too often.
If she'd made contact with it, if Draper had made contact with it and it gone in, that would have been fine.
They would have given that as a goal, yeah. I mean, you can't deliberately chip the ball. You're not allowed to, but if you do it accidentally, you can get away with it.
So the Storm look to rebuild again. Holland Smith gets it stolen off her.
Yeah, she was closed down there with a double team.
Then we go again, out to this near side with Carter. Carter one-handed, tries her best to keep the ball in front of her. Loses one Storm player, handed off to the other, and the original Storm player can clear the danger.
It's a good run by Carter down the left-hand flank.
McLaughlin with a bit more time and space than she's been allowed in this final quarter. Will get the circle entry, and then just a clearance from Buzzico, I think. That's not Buzzico.
I think it was Newton, maybe. Alexander Newton.
Evans will come all the way back to Cooper. Cooper will fire it out onto that far side. Shan making herself available. Not required. Then we'll go down the line, and the pass doesn't quite get there. Storm in the shadow of their own goal post trying to pay out. Oh, it's still going. Oh no, there's the whistle.
It was dogged play by Hattie Shand, but in the end the ball just went out. But they've won possession anyway, the Saints.
McLaughlin are not allowed to go. Shand will restart it. Come back to Cooper. Cooper has Evans on the left if she finds her. That's a lovely little reverse stick around the corner. Unfortunately, nobody could get in front of it. Bridgeland just redirecting it from the top of the circle.
That's a really good use of that. It's exactly what she did. It was a redirect, and it's something that they try and set up in terms of being able to enter the circle. It's hard to defend. Well spotted, Dave. I'm
getting there with this hockey malarkey.
You are.
Oh, that's managed to find its way through and sneak its way through, all the way through to Morrison. Morrison with a lovely move around the outside. Now she's going to try and work down the right-hand side, but Cooper just pokes it away. That is, Cooper is playing almost in the style of Sarah Harry, or I'm sure we'll see next week.
Yeah, she's playing an important role in that kind of free defender, that sweeper role.
There is a break on if they can get it out there, which they do to Carter. Carter has two options in the middle and a third one in Evans, who's just sneaking into the top of the circle now. Oh, they just couldn't get it finished. They had the players there, they had the numbers there. I'm sure that Steve Button would have liked to see a better result from that breakaway.
Steve Button is coaching the opposition. Is that right?
Dan Mitchell and Melody Cooper, sorry.
Dan
yes.
Mitchell. Dan Mitchell's warming up right now, and
Yes.
I'm sure
Steve Button would have been happy with that
Steve
result.
Button was happy with the way his team controlled that breakaway, is what you
Yes,
meant.
that's exactly what I meant to say. So out to McLaughlin. Turns back in field. Then we'll look to just drop backwards. Had a look at the bench. I wonder whether they're on certain times that they go.
Yeah, potentially.
Shand fires it forward. Dealt with well at the back.
This is where she's dangerous, when she's got some space to run into, but
Ball just not
just
running
overran
for
her.
her. Ball, the pitch has been watered. We can confirm that. Most of it got on me. McLaughlin brings 2 to her. Then we'll send it back. Waters,
Waters, correct.
sends it out. Another little redirect. Is it going to make its way to anybody? No.
Through to-
Goalkeeper kicks it away.
Through to the keeper.
That one will find its way out. Cooper will pick it up. Has Grist just wanted more time than she had. Grist gets wet on the floor. That's what we like to see. Throw your body at it. So
Yep.
she's kind of on her own. She has got support coming from Dubrow. Just couldn't beat the first one. Waters does well and just break that one down.
I think that's Cody Lewis on the ball, out on the left-hand flank. She would have made the 5-hour journey from Mount Gambier to play tonight, so
Well, we thank her for it. Colin Smith with that chip tomahawk again. I mean, if you do it 3 times in a row, you can't say it's an accident.
well, I think you're spot on, although I don't think she did the last one, so I'm not sure if it goes. I think Buzzico might have been responsible for one, but
So that one will come out to the left-hand side. Waters will fire it forward. Can she get there? Can she get the control? She got there, she just didn't get the control. Cass working hard.
it's a good ball by Waters.
Kind of ball that strikers feel they have to apologise for not getting.
Yep. So the Storm would really be needing a goal in the next minute or two to push the Saints in the last few minutes. It's been a competitive final quarter, though.
As the Saints just looked like they've controlled it. I mean, the pressure from the Saints has dropped a little bit. Not as intense as it was, but with a 2-goal cushion, that's probably sensible. Don't run yourself into the ground.
Yeah, and
Waters will send it back to Cooper. Cooper will look for an outlet to Shand. Shand has an option down the line, just overcooks it slightly, and the Storm will be able to send it back. Good control from Dubrow. Dubrow will send it infield to Herbert, then they will go back. And back out onto that far side. Tries to get her head up, fires it forward. Good control by Holland Smith. Holland Smith against Waters. Will buck Waters down. Still bouncing around in there. And it's a free hit, Saints.
not sure what the umpire saw there, but
Noise from Mr. White to my left speaks volumes. Cooper. Happy to go out left to Waters.
the Saints have actually looked pretty effective when they've gone direct to their strikers, but they probably haven't done that enough.
Overhead in the direction of Shan, but the Storm will come away from it. Just under 4 minutes of this one, this first statewide Super League game between the Storm and the Saints. Good intercept by Bridgeland.
It was an example of the good direct hockey that the Saints have played at times.
The Storm now will.
The Storm have played.
Oh, and that one's just gone miss. And the Saints do have a runner, and Cass has covered some yardage tonight. Not sure whether Huey Purvis has GPS on any of these players. But
Well,
Cass, I think, has run a fair way.
Well, I know that there's 3 girls out there who are GPS'd, and they're the 3 sassy athletes, so we'll be able to get some data on them.
Evans tried to stop it, but it found its way to Holland Smith. Holland Smith, nice little reverse pass out the back to Dowling. Dowling has an option down in that far right-hand corner, but it's cut off by Waters.
Just not enough pace on that ball.
McLaughlin will just redirect it to Evans. Evans happy to go back to Grist. Grist to McLaughlin. McLaughlin with her head up, has options in front of her. Good control and turn. Comes back to Grist, marshalling that midfield. Grist will send it out to the right to Evans. Evans looks for a circle entry, gets a circle entry, fires on goal. Good save by Verrill.
It was well built up by the Saints. Had it on the left and Hoffman pulled it back, and Verrill made a good save, quite a long way off her line.
Well, the state goalkeeper coaches sat behind us watching intently. So McLaughlin will get the circle entry and go down the byline. Verrill comes out, doesn't quite get there. Oh, that was Carter.
That was a very good opportunity there for the
She'll have nightmares
Saints
over that one. Just difficult, just on that reverse stick. Intercepted again, she makes up for it. Then she will look for a circle entry. Goes inside to McLaughlin, just ran away from McLaughlin. Still there, still bouncing around. Free hit to the Storm. We just see there, just couldn't quite get it under control. Carter did everything right, except the finish.
There was good press before by the Saints. They've put the Storm under pressure sometimes with their outletting.
Again, we see that pressure from the strikers. McLaughlin will pick it away. Now it is a couple of numbers. Good direction through. That time she just couldn't get enough on it. Carter's had about 4 she could have scored.
That was Carter again. Yeah, she's been around the mark lately, but just hadn't had the finishing touch.
But that'll come as we enter the final minute of this first statewide Super League game. Herbert will turn herself into trouble and the pressure keeps going even into the final minute. The Saints will continue to push towards that circle. We'll get another circle entry, we'll come back. Anywhere will do for the Storm. Well, barring an absolute miracle, you would suggest that the Saints are going to take out the inaugural statewide Super League game.
Yes.
Happy to just sit in there. 30 seconds is a fair amount of time to keep hold of it though. McLaughlin just happy to sit in the corner.
Yep, looks like that's exactly what Yo-Yo's trying to do.
Poked away, so I wouldn't expect too much different from this point. So you approach the final 10 seconds. And they get a free hit, and again, I don't think we'll see anything different from that one. So, you would expect that the first statewide Super League game is in the books, with the Saints marching on to victory.
Boom, boom.
I've been waiting for it all day, in fairness.
Are they
So
going to play that song now? Or?
No, well, they did have a Green Day and U2 song ready to go. I don't know whether they'll get it up and running. But no, the Saints Go Marching On won't be a thing, I don't think, unless we can get it in there. I'm sure Hockey SA would love your feedback on this first one. If there's anything you want to see, let them know. I'm sure they can accommodate every single little request that you have. They'll help me for that. Exactly. So the first one is in the books. The Saints winning this one. 3-1. Goals scored by McLaughlin, got 2 of them. Pennington got the other one. DeBro got the early goal for the Southern Storm, but it wasn't enough for anything to come from that. Don't go anywhere though. We'll be right back on Facebook for the Eastern Saints taking on the Southern Storm in the men's competition. Tim will join me for that one again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to Statewide Super and Just Hockey, Hockey SA and Spacequake Sports. Well, you had a great time and we will speak to you again very, very soon. From me, Dave Webb, and Tim White, good night.
Thank you.